story, Clifford? Okay, pick one out. Thanks, Clifford. This looks like a great story. Today's story is Speckle and the Brand New Toy. Speckle had just gotten a brand new toy. He loved playing with it because even though it was very small, it was a whole lot of fun. Naturally, Speckle couldn't wait to share it with his friends. But when Ravi, Luna, Reba, and Darnell all showed up together, the friends wondered how they could all possibly play with such a teeny toy at the very same time. But then Speckle got an idea. He thought of a way that all of his friends could enjoy the bubble maker and its beautiful bubbles at the same time. Using Speckle's great idea, the group found that one tiny toy led to lots of big fun. The end. I love reading stories together. You know, Clifford, for such a small dog, you sure are a big reader. Clifford! Where are you, boy? Want to read a story, Clifford? Okay, pick one out. Thanks, Clifford. This looks like a great story. Today's story is Speckle and the Cure for Hiccups. One day, Speckle started making a very silly sound. He had the hiccups and couldn't seem to make them stop. So his friends came up with some very creative cures. Luna said Speckle should drink a giant glass of water. But that didn't work. Darnell suggested Speckle blow up a balloon as big as he possibly could. Ravi thought that rolling down a soft, grassy hill would help. And Reba recommended jumping rope on one foot. Soon, Speckle's hiccups were gone. His friends didn't know if their cures really worked, but they did know they sure were fun acting out. Speckle agreed. He had such a good time, he couldn't wait to have hiccups again. The end. I love reading stories together. You know, Clifford, for such a small dog, you sure are a big reader. Clifford! Where are you, boy? Want to read a story, Clifford? Okay, pick one out. Thanks, Clifford. This looks like a great story. Today's story is Speckle and the Fairy Tale. Speckle and his friends were reading a great story. It was a fairy tale about a beautiful kingdom and all the princesses and brave knights who lived there. It looked like so much fun that Speckle and his friends decided to dress up like they were the characters in the book. But what could they wear? King Speckle made a crown out of an old newspaper. Queen Reba found a beach towel that made the perfect cape and decorated her hair with a beautiful chain of wildflowers. With his sand pail and flying disc, Sir Darnell was ready to fight a mighty dragon. Then Princess Luna and Prince Ravi pretended that ordinary brooms were majestic horses and raced each other around the palace. It was so much fun, they played for the rest of the afternoon. The end. I love reading stories together. You know, Clifford, for such a small dog, you sure are a big reader. Clifford! Where are you, boy? Want to read a story, Clifford? Okay, pick one out. Thanks, Clifford. This looks like a great story. Today's story is Speckle and the Homemade Toys. It was a great morning because Speckle and his friends had gotten together to play. But soon they realized that none of them had brought a game or a toy to play with. They wondered, what were they going to do? until Speckle said they could use their imaginations and make their own toys. That was a great idea, and off they went to see what toys they could create. Reba was so inspired, she went right out and gathered acorns, just the right size for a game of jacks. Working together, Darnell and Luna made an extra long daisy chain to use as a jump rope. Then Robbie and Speckle found that a soft plastic lid was perfect for throwing through the air like a flying disc. Now, the gang had a brand new question. Which wonderful homemade toy should they play with first? The end. I love reading stories together. You know, Clifford, for such a small dog, you sure are a big reader. Ruff. Clifford, where are you, boy? Ruff, ruff. Want to read a story, Clifford? Ruff. Okay, pick one out. Thanks, Clifford. This looks like a great story. Today's story is Speckle and the Made-Up Rules. One afternoon, Speckle invited all his friends over. He had a new board game and couldn't wait to share it. But when they opened the box, they couldn't find any rules, and no one knew how to play. Then Speckle had a great idea. The group could make up their own rules for the game. Robbie spun a 3, so he had to make the funniest face he possibly could. And when Speckle landed on a green square, his challenge was to juggle. Or at least try to. It was so much fun, they played for the rest of the afternoon, enjoying the rules and the game that they all made up together. The end. I love reading stories together. You know, Clifford, for such a small dog, you sure are a big reader. Ruff. Clifford, where are you, boy? Ruff, ruff. Want to read a story, Clifford? Ruff. Okay, pick one out. Thanks, Clifford. This looks like a great story. Today's story is Speckle and the Pen Pals. Early one afternoon, Luna went to check her mailbox. Luna said she loved getting mail, but hadn't gotten any letters in a long time. None of them had gotten a letter of their own in a long time either. Then Speckle said he knew how they could all get mail. They could write letters to each other. Luna wrote about the apple tree in her backyard and the day it blossomed with flowers. Reba wrote about her last basketball game and how she scored the winning point. Darnell and Ravi wrote about the great new books they checked out from the library. And Speckle wrote a letter that was all pictures, drawings of every one of his favorite activities. Soon Luna's mailbox was filled with letters, and so were everyone else's. And they enjoyed reading and sharing their very own letters with all of their friends. The end. I love reading stories together. You know, Clifford, for such a small dog, you sure are a big reader. Ruff. Clifford, where are you, boy? Ruff, ruff. Want to read a story, Clifford? Ruff. Okay, pick one out. Thanks, Clifford. This looks like a great story. Today's story is Speckle and the Terrific Tour. One morning, Reba was showing the gang a great book that had pictures of exotic places all over the world. The gang wished they could visit such exciting places. Then Speckle said they could. All they needed was a little bit of help from their imaginations. Speckle pretended he was their conductor and collected everyone's tickets. And once they were seated on the travel train, the tour began. At their first stop, Darnell pointed out a beautiful house in the sky. Ravi and Luna were amazed by the wild sea creature they passed, and Reba loved exploring the untamed jungle and discovering its lovely surprises. When the trip was over, there was only one thing left to do, and that was to thank the conductor for taking them on such a terrific tour. The end. I love reading stories together. You know, Clifford, for such a small dog, you sure are a big reader. Clifford, where are you, boy? Want to read a story, Clifford? Okay, pick one out. Thanks, Clifford. This looks like a great story. Today's story is Speckle and the Vacation for Everyone. When Speckle returned from his vacation, he invited all of his friends to his house to see a movie he'd made just for them. They watched Speckle play on a sandy beach where he found a fabulous seashell that he brought back for Reba. And when he learned how to dance on a tropical island, he saved the flower necklace for Luna. They saw Speckle explore a deep green forest and pick up a pine cone just for Ravi. Then climbed to the very top of a mountain where he spotted a sparkling stone, perfect for Darnell's collection. Seeing the wonderful sights and having their very own souvenirs, Reba, Ravi, Luna, and Darnell felt like they had been on Speckle's vacation too, and they'd all had a wonderful time. The end. I love reading stories together. You know, Clifford, for such a small dog, you sure are a big reader. Clifford, where are you, boy? Want to read a story, Clifford? Okay, pick one out. Thanks, Clifford. This looks like a great story. Today's story is Speckle Gets Well. One day, Speckle wasn't feeling very well, so he had to stay in bed. His friend Reba came by and wanted to jump rope with him, but Speckle couldn't. And he couldn't play ball with Darnell. Or bounce on Ravi's trampoline, or even play hopscotch with Luna. All Speckle could do was lay in bed, and since no one wanted to leave Speckle alone while they played, they decided to take turns reading him a story and keeping him company as he got better and better and better. And finally, when Speckle was well enough to go outside and play, he was very happy. But he was even happier that he could play with the very friends who had cared so much about him and helped make him feel better. The end. I love reading stories together. You know, Clifford, for such a small dog, you sure are a big reader. Clifford, where are you, boy? Want to read a story, Clifford? Okay, pick one out. Thanks, Clifford. This looks like a great story. Today's story is Speckle and the Surprising Story. Speckle and his friends were gathered around listening to Speckle tell a brand new story. It was about brave explorers searching for buried treasure. But just as Speckle reached the most exciting part of the story, he said it was Ravi's turn to tell what happened next. Ravi thought for a moment, then said the explorers found a mysterious blue door. What was behind it? Reba said the door opened to a secret tunnel that led to the very top of a tall mountain, where they went sliding on a supercharged sled all the way down to a circus, said Darnell. As the day went on, Speckle, Ravi, Reba, Luna, and Darnell all took turns creating a truly surprising story, which was so much fun because the whole gang created it together. The end. I love reading stories together. You know, Clifford, for such a small dog, you sure are a big reader.